The first case of the deadly H5 strain of the bird flu has been detected in Australia in a bird found along WA's southern coast. The disease has caused millions of deaths of birds and mammals overseas. For more, we're joined by our reporter Keen Burke now. Hi there, Keen. So what have we learned this morning from authorities?
Well, the big thing we've learned this morning is that positive test for the H5 strain has now been confirmed. It was a brown skewer that was found along WA's southern coast near Esperance, about 400 kilometres southeast of Perth last weekend. It was sick, it was taken into care. It has since died. Samples were taken and that bird has now become the first confirmed case of the H5 strain here in WA. Another bird, a giant petrel, which was found in a similar area at a similar time, has now also been tested. That bird has returned a positive sample on a preliminary test done here in WA. Those samples will now also be tested at the Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness in Geelong to confirm that result. The Agriculture Minister, Julie Collins, this morning stressing that at this point there have been no indications of mass mortality, no signs that the disease has spread into the agricultural industry as of yet, but that surveillance is ongoing to try and understand the state of play as it stands. This is a situation Australia has been expecting for some time. We had been the only continent that had not recorded any cases of the disease, and so there has been a lot of work put into preparing for this day. Here is a little bit of that press conference earlier this morning.
We have been carefully preparing for this event for a long time. We have had the benefit of learning from the international experience, and this means that the investment that government and along with state and territory jurisdictions and industry have made have left us as best prepared as possible to respond to this situation.
The initial response to this situation will be surveillance. Authorities continuing to urge people, if they see sick or dead birds, to keep their distance, to record photos and videos, to note down their location and to report that to state and federal authorities as soon as possible. We've already heard this morning there have been a number of reports to WA authorities since yesterday. That is really the first step of this response to understand if these are isolated cases, which they may well be because these are migratory birds that are normally only seen on the mainland in these areas when they're sick, or if the disease has spread into local populations.
All right, important advice there, Keen. Look, we know that this has had a devastating impact overseas. Just explain to us how worried authorities are about what could happen here.
It has had a significant impact right around the world. The latest situation report from the World Organisation for Animal Health has some data in it from March. They say that some 5.6 million poultry were either found dead or were culled as a result of this strain of the bird flu, mostly in the Americas and in Europe. We've seen seal populations significantly impacted on Heard Island, an Australian remote territory. Scientists this week estimating that around 3/4 of seal pups have died as a result of this disease just since it was detected there last October. We heard earlier this morning from a bird flu expert who has been watching the spread of this closely and spoke about the catastrophic impacts that this disease has had right around the world.
Marine mammals are particularly susceptible to the disease, and so we have species of fur seals in Australia. They will be vulnerable, and the Australian sea lion. And there are indeed species-specific plans to help ahead of the disease, but also if the disease arrives, manage the impact of that disease for Australian marine mammals. There are many species of marine bird and water bird which will be impacted.
So you heard there, Australian sea lions, one of the species authorities are worried about in WA, the black swan, the blue-billed duck, and the ground parrot species also. of concern for authorities. It's a mix. Some species they're worried about because of the risk of it spreading very quickly. So seals will breed in large groups. They will be close together. It can spread very quickly that way. Other species they're worried about because they are already endangered, and this is just another factor which could put pressure on those populations. Authorities saying there are a wide range of plans that have been prepared and will now be put into place to try and protect all of those species. In some cases, it's about keeping them in captivity to protect those populations. In other cases, work has already been underway to try and remove other threats to these animals so that if the disease does get into those populations, they have the best chance of surviving and of reproducing and keeping those populations alive. A lot of work still to come, a lot of uncertainty that depends on that surveillance work that is unfolding. Lots more that we'll be learning about this over today and the days ahead.